Tiffany Haddish. Tiffany Haddish. Step into the universe, Tiffany Haddish. I was rooting for you. Insert the Tyra Banks clip. I was rooting for you, Tiffany. We were all rooting for you. And honestly, a lot of us wasn't rooting for you. Because I think a lot of people on Black Twitter, a lot of people everywhere, is about tired of Tiffany Haddish and about tired of her being basically the female Kevin Hart and being horrible at comedy, but making a fool of herself, being the overly extra ghetto loud black girl that twerks and does all of that for Ellen and for the white people to get her money. I think we was all over that spiel. And honestly, I was very much over that. But then I started watching. Oh, I started playing my own video. Ooh, disgusting. But I started watching other things of her. I noticed that when she cut her hair, and as y'all can see, I cut my hair. I noticed that when she cut her hair, a lot of people were saying, like, is she okay? Is she crazy? And she's just like, no, I just want to cut my hair. And I was like, see, people think Tiffany Haddish is crazy all the time when she's not really just crazy, you know? And so I just tried to say, like, Tiffany Haddish is actually really smart. I think that Tiffany Haddish is smart when it comes to knowing how to make money, when it comes to knowing how to play into stereotypes and other things in order to get what she wants. And I would not personally do that, but I understand. How Black women come to make those decisions. I understand how even people like Candace Owens, that is, the Black. Well, I don't want to say that, but Candace Owens is like the Black bad wench for the Republican Party at this point, and the extremely conservative people. And I don't agree with Candace Owens and what she's doing, but I also understand that she probably know all the stuff that she saying sounds stupid, but she also knows she making money doing that. I know Tiffany Haddish probably know that she be making a fool of herself, but she also know that she be making money doing it. So I honestly just thought Tiffany Haddish, I thought that's what that was. I thought she knows that this is extra and, all these other things. But, I just thought that she was doing it for money, which I'm not going to knock her hustle. Like, at the end of the day, how is she actually being harmful by being quote unquote extra ghetto? Because at the end of the day, I don't believe in respectability politics. And I just don't feel like, at the end of the day, if you as a white person see Tiffany Haddish and think that this is how all Black women act, or a non-Black person see her and think this is how all Black women act, that's on you and your racism and the fact that you don't interact with educated or, non-ghetto Black women, and that you think that we are all a monolith. That's on you, not on Tiffany Haddish or on me to be judging Tiffany Haddish for how she looks, how she carries herself. I didn't care. I was over the whole she does all of this for, dancing and buffoonery for the white dollar. I was over that. I'm like, that's how she thinks she needs to make her money after all the stuff she's been through. I'm okay with that. I let it go. I let the buffoonery go. But when you start using your platform to think that you are Dr. Sebi and you're going to be all this holistic, spiritual, all this stuff, that's fine. But you have to realize that there are people that are not rich like you are now. You can do all of this holistic stuff, and if it doesn't work out, guess what? You are a millionaire, and you can go get private hospitals, private medical care, where you don't even need insurance to pay for it. It's like some of us cannot even fathom. Me, myself, I cannot even fathom the type of hospitals that people like Serena Wilson or Tiffany Haddish go to, because they go to hospitals. It's no insurance involved. They paying millions out of the pocket. On top of that, on top of paying for the fees that we'll be paying out of pocket, plus paying even more, it's luxury. We can never probably even imagine what them type of hospitals look like, right? And the intricacy of the care and individualized care that they are getting, right? So it's like you're sitting here using your platform, Tiffany Haddish, to say COVID isn't real, this, that, and the third. When even if you want to sit here and believe all this holistic mumbo jumbo, Dr. Sebi, all you need to do is drink alkalines, you're never gonna get COVID, you're gonna be fine. Our communities and the communities that you claim you come from, with all the stuff that you have been through, the numbers show we are the ones getting the most affected. And if this holistic stuff don't work, and this stuff that you're telling your fans don't work, if it don't work for you, you could go to $1 million hospital. These people that came from where you claim you came from cannot. So why are you using your platform when you say you inspire women like you, people that came from where you came from? Why are you using that platform to not only spread lies about COVID, but also to then have your followers attack a Black woman doctor who was trying to tell the truth about COVID? First of all, let's just say this. I don't even much want to address Jason Lee and Joe Budden. Let me just say this. If you as a Black woman find yourself agreeing with Jason Lee and Joe Budden over another Black woman, you're questionable. This is just like for me in general with Black people when it comes to COVID. If you find yourself saying the same thing that Trump and his supporters are saying about COVID, when you don't agree with Trump on nothing else, that might mean you on the wrong side. You think about it. Think about it, y'all. Think about it. And the same goes for Tiffany Haddish. Joe Budden, who is known to attack Black women every 5 seconds. Jason Lee, who is also known to use his platform to slut shame and attack Black women at any seconds, and is most known. We was all introduced to him for throwing a glass of water in Hazel E's of alcohol in Hazel E's face on Love and Hip Hop. This is a man who not only verbally attacks women, Black women whenever he can, but who throws glasses of alcohol in their face on a national platform. And this is who you want to side with when it comes to talking about COVID and when it comes to deciding to attack a Black woman doctor? Like once you've seen, like even if you, Tiffany Haddish, decided that you felt like attacked and felt that this woman was coming at you, once you've seen that Jason Lee and Joe Budden were the ones that come to your defense, that should have made you think, just like Chance the Rapper when he was saying all the stuff he was saying, and then what's it called? Terry Crews was like, I agree with you, brother. Chance the Rapper was like, oh, you know what? You know what? Actually, I was wrong. Because these are people that have been saying the wrong stuff over and over and over again. So that should have just made you think, you know what? I might be on the wrong side of this debate. If y'all agree with this, if I'm saying anything, me, Alexis, that Trump agrees with, that Trump supporters, but more specifically, forget that, specifically within the Black community, that Jason Lee and Joe Budden, who like to verbally and physically attack Black women, agree with, I might need to, and I'm siding with them over an educated Black woman, we might have to analyze that. We might have to scrutinize that. Let's just pull it out and scrutinize it for a little bit, girl. Like, sorry, y'all, that was the beginning of the rant. If you do not know what's going on and what I'm talking about, y'all, Tiffany Haddish. So she tweeted something along the lines of, something about COVID, like something about COVID rumors, something about, not Courtney calling me when I'm on live again. But she tweeted something about, COVID is like, I don't know, whatever she tweeted something leading misinformation about COVID and like holistic views. Like, but let me say this. She ain't the first one to do it. T.I. been doing that stuff. T.I. been all over doing interviews, everything else, talking about how he doesn't believe he should wear a mask because he believes he should build his immune system. And if he does catch COVID, what he does is drinks hot tea to kill the COVID. And as much as y'all want to say that that's not real and like nobody, nobody actually listens to T.I. I have heard my mother say she done heard people talk about tea and COVID and all that. This is not science. This is, and not even saying that scientists are the greatest people. Scientists be racist, homophobic, sexist, ableist, all these other things as well. But it's also just like 1 + 1 don't equal 7. I wish it did, but it don't. Like, I wish that we could just cure COVID by drinking some tea, y'all. I really wish that is what we could do, but we can't do that. And y'all out here, like, oh, girl, it's upsetting to me. It's upsetting because it's just like any of these celebrities that y'all are listening to say these things, just consider the simple fact that while you and your grandma, your aunties, your family could catch this, and if nothing else, even if you make it and you get to the hospital on time, you will be the one paying those hospital bills and in debt. These people, they not gonna be in no type of debt curing COVID, but on top of that, they're able to pay for the best teams. Most of us regular people have to go to regular hospital with regular racists, regular sexist, homophobes, ableist, like classist people, classist nurses and doctors. And I don't know if y'all, like, do y'all not be on the internet? It's so many stories out here of Black women, Black people dying from COVID because of Black nurses and stuff that they've seen. These doctors had the ability to choose. We only got so many beds. I'm choosing the rich white lady. I'm choosing the rich white lady whose husband is a donor at this hospital, not the poor little Black person. I don't like these. They have the ability to choose life or death. Tiffany, you think Tiffany Haddish, if she catch COVID, you think she's gonna be at a regular hospital like that? She's gonna be somewhere with private care, probably able to get private care brought straight to her house, pay for everybody to be COVID tested that's taking care of her, pay for machines and all these things to be brought to her mansion. Like, do y'all even if these celebrities actually believe the foolishness that they're saying, do you think that the risk is as high for them as for you? And do you, Tiffany Haddish, think that the risk is worth, like, why are you, like, why? That's the first, just why? You know? And then okay, y'all, I'm sorry. I'm gonna give y'all a story and then I'm gonna go back to dragging her. Tiffany Haddish said something that was incorrect about COVID because she thinks Dr. Sebi, a holistic healer. She heard about holistic healing for the first time since she been rich, and now think that she just on a higher plane than everybody else, and that everybody, these doctors, all these people aligned to us. And so look, and even myself, I'm not saying that I am trusting of all doctors, including Black women doctors, completely, but also the numbers are not lying. And maybe Tiffany Haddish is rich enough that anybody that she care about that is not rich, she got them living safely with her. So she don't know nobody that did die from COVID. Or quite frankly, don't care. Like, I don't know. But it's just like the numbers, the amount of people that have died, the amount of people that have caught it, that I personally know if they have heard of. It's just like, this shit is not lying. Even like, y'all want to say these numbers are exaggerated, all these things. Like, she basically made a statement. A Black woman doctor commented on her statement and was like, when y'all flip the truth. Actually, I'm going to read the tweets for y'all. I'm going to read the tweets. And I don't have the Clubhouse audio because I'm not in Clubhouse. And quite frankly, I don't care to be. This is, my sister been trying to get me to get on Clubhouse. And this is why I don't want to get on Clubhouse, because these celebrities really are just like crazy and need to be held accountable. And what was actually going on, and this is why I want to go live about this, is because this was posted on a blog that I follow, and everybody in the comments of the blog was like, Tiffany Haddish, they need to leave her alone. Oh la la. We're gonna get into that though. So she says, She said, the original tweet, I believe, said, funny how some people can't handle the truth. And this doctor replied, a Black woman doctor, the truth that COVID exists and has disproportionately affected POC and Black physicians are trying to educate our communities with facts, not fiction. Tiffany Haddish said, I am here for facts. Please show me where I have spread any false news about COVID. Oh, I get it. You use my name to spread your facts. I have to use instead of Dan, use my discernment to see if it's true. I will use your name and things that I want people to know as well. Hope you like it. And that's how we're going to, this is a key tweet when we get into this doxing claim. The doctor replied, I am a Black female physician with over 20 years of experience working at a frontline hospital as a frontline hospital physician and have spent the past year trying to educate my community with facts on this disease and now vaccine. These are not my facts. She said, these are not my facts. So then a white woman replied and said, what are you thinking? Using your power to punch down at any doctor on her subject of expertise, let alone a Black woman fighting a pandemic that is disproportionately ravaging POC, not just physically, but emotionally. It's not just stupid and arrogant. It's cruel. Back off. Somebody else replied, this makes me so incredibly angry. How are we supposed to win against the virus when every single card is being stacked against us? How? Tiffany Haddish, I said yesterday and I said it again, there is a special place in God's kingdom for people to make up lies on his children. No weapon formed against you shall prosper. Every tongue which rises out against your judgment you shall condemn. This is the heritage of the servants and the Lord's. So anyway, that's what happened. I'm assuming that from what I've seen, I don't even remember what her Tiffany Haddish's original tweet was, or what she originally said about COVID and about that that COVID is not real. But let me just tell y'all this: it's not just Tiffany Haddish; it's a lot of Nick Cannon, T.I., a lot of celebrities that want to be Black Hebrew Israelites and want to be Dr. Sebi and on this holistic, we us Black people, we're higher than now. We can utilize our bodies, all these things and that, all these like sure, even if that was the case, that we all can do that and we can push our bodies to our best naturally. Who was Dr. Sebi's main client? Celebrities. Lisa left out Lopez. So like celebrities. Do y'all think, and even forget that, like even when everybody talking about Dr. Sebi said the green moss, the sea moss and all these things, y'all saying all this stuff only to what? Then package it up and sell it to people. Y'all saying sea moss, so what? So you can sell it. So y'all saying, oh, these doctors, they just want to use all these things to put in our body that aren't going to help us, and masks aren't real. We can cure this like this. We don't need a mask. We can cure this with this supplement and with this sea moss and with this tea that you're selling and you're making money off of. So of course you gonna get on the internet telling people, which we're not even talking about just Tiffany Haddish. We talking about Nick Cannon and how he doing his little Dr. Sebi documentary. We talking about T.I., how he talking about he wants to do something with Dr. Sebi. Like, y'all are making money off of this. You think that these people are just telling us, oh, I just drink tea, I do sea moss, I do these holistic things I learned from Dr. Sebi, just because they want to share with the community? Then they gonna flip around selling documentaries about Dr. Sebi, selling CMOS, selling this stuff to get you to spend what little money you have that they telling you that you shouldn't be giving to doctors and pharmaceutical companies. But they are exploiting in the same way that these pharmaceutical companies are doing. Not on the same level, but they're exploiting what little money poor people have. Poor Black people have that are their fans and that want to lift them up. They do the same thing. So for me, that's why with all this super holistic, super spiritual stuff, it's a lot of it is very ableist. It'd be a lot of, first of all, we finna get off Tiffany Haddish and all that, right? Look, real quick, this is a rant, this is a tangent. A lot of just in general, T.I., all them type of people, It's really ableist. Especially I be on spiritualist Twitter and stuff. A lot of y'all, oh, you're not on a higher vibration. You just need to do these type of things. You wouldn't be sick if you just did this. You just did this. Y'all, this is how people be dying. Y'all be preying on people that have cancers, that have real actual illnesses, and telling them, oh, just do, I could heal you with this, I could heal you with that, heal you with this. And they pay you. Y'all saying this about that you don't want people to be preyed upon by the white medical industry, but then have them pay money to you to do these things and create a full business out of it. Like, if the case was you wanted to just people to know, oh, they could do this and this and this and they'd be fine, why aren't you, these healing practices, why aren't you doing free YouTube videos? Why aren't you doing free tutorials on Instagram or all these other things? Majority of y'all are charging for these things, but it's not about that you're charging for services. If you genuinely do believe that this is helpful, is that y'all then go and shame people for going to doctors, going to all this stuff, which at the end of the day, some people are on Medicaid, people are on their family's insurance. Like, this might be accessible to them. But y'all shame people for going to regular hospitals and wearing masks and doing things that we have been told to protect us by these institutions, only to then ask them for money to do what you say will be what will cleanse them. For you to give them a consultation about veganism and about alkaline eating and about sea moss and all the different nutrients that you need to be eating and how much. Like, come on now. It's one thing if you're trying to make your money, that's fine. But don't get on your platform and lie to people and spread these things, knowing that not everybody has access to pay for these spiritual, all these quote unquote higher frequency things that y'all are selling. Back on Tiffany Haddish. So she's going in on this black woman doctor. She's alleging that she didn't say nothing that was a lie about COVID. And somehow, some way, they hop on Clubhouse, which if y'all do not know what Clubhouse is, it is an app. You can only get on the app if you are invited to go on the app, because it blew up so quickly that at this point they can only have capacity for invite only. And there's different rooms on there. You can search and find rooms, I believe. And Tiffany Haddish had a room where she was in a room or had a room where she was going in on this black woman doctor. And basically Jason Lee, which, as I already said, if you do not know, hello, if y'all are just entering, Jason Lee has been known to speak very negatively of black women. There's a video going around of Beyonce literally avoiding him at the Rock Nation brunch. He threw alcohol in a black woman's face on national television. Like, come on now. And Joe Budden, there's been multiple allegations by multiple exes of him that he physically abused them. He gets on his radio show and downs Megan Thee Stallion, Nicki Minaj all the time. And she teamed up with them on Clubhouse, basically going in on this black woman, but also in doxing. And I'll see a lot of people in the comments on the blog saying, oh, well, if she was sad about what they said on Clubhouse, who cares? Okay, we're just going to get to the point. Doxing means that she is allowing her fans to go find personal information about this woman and instructing them to do that and releasing personal information about this woman. That is the issue. That is the issue. And if y'all do not understand why that's the issue, then you don't need to, we're not on the same page anyway. That's the issue. She was continuing to feed, they were all continuing to feed into this when people, not them necessarily, were finding personal information about the woman. That's what doxing means. Doxing means basically like, okay, you know how people say the Barbs are crazy, all this stuff, but Nicki Minaj has never instructed the Barbs, hey, go find this lady on Twitter. Like, she was never on any platform that we have seen said, hey, go find this woman's house and put that shit on the internet. You know what I'm saying? She's never done that. Tiffany Haddish was playing into this, which is the problem. And so there are so many people I see in the comments saying, oh, well, she couldn't take what they were saying. She should have just logged out. She should have just left. Girl, at that point, even if she logged out, if y'all talking about her personal information, that's making it seem like she is in danger. And I'm going to get to the point of what I mean when I say she couldn't handle it. Basically, this has become a headline because the woman has now, it has been confirmed that she attempted suicide because of all of this. She attempted suicide. This is what triggered her to attempt suicide. And I just want to read to y'all. This is what blew me about the whole thing. I know I just went on a whole rant about everything else, but this right here is what I'm like, yeah, you, Tiffany Haddish, you are one of those people that will never admit when you are wrong, no matter how far it goes. Because as I just told y'all, it got to the point that it has been confirmed the woman attempted suicide. She is not deceased, but she attempted because of this triggering her. But now I'm going to get into what Tiffany Haddish had to say about the attempt and about these allegations about what she has done. Tiffany Haddish says, now people on Clubhouse saying I'm bullying because I just told the truth. Somebody responded and said the lady attempted suicide. It takes a lot to push someone to that point. Here is Tiffany's response. That is true. It does take a lot. I remember all the times I tried to kill myself. Would you like to talk about that? It had a lot to do with having to live in foster care, being told I was ugly, stupid, being raped, and feeling like I had no purpose on this earth. So I can relate. Tiffany Haddish, we are talking about the actions you committed that helped people to get to bully and go try to find this woman's personal information and attack her personally, past the Clubhouse, past the Twitter. We're talking about that. We're talking about what you did to feed into that with your fans. Nobody has ever said that Tiffany Haddish was not abused, that she did not have a hard life. Nobody has ever said that it was not a lot that led to Tiffany Haddish having a suicide or multiple suicide attempts. Nobody has ever taken that away from her. But when people try to hold you accountable and say that, hey, bro, enough is enough. This woman attempted suicide, and it takes a lot for her to do that. Your response should not be, well, I tried to attempt suicide and I did it because I went through a lot. So I agree. It do take a lot to make you, Your response should be, instead of trying to gaslight and turn it on, well, I've been through this, and this. So, and belittle, it doesn't matter if clearly her mental state is at a certain point that what y'all did was able to push her to that level. No matter what it was, it should not be something that if somebody's trying to hold you accountable and say this led to a suicide attempt, what you should say is, wow, I mean, I did not think it would lead to this far. I did not think it would get this far, or even if you was being that evil, just say, you know what? I have empathy because I also once was somebody who attempted suicide, and I'm done with this. Like, we need to end this now. I need to apologize. This needs to be done. Please stop. But instead, you turn it and you gaslight and you say, well, I went through this, and this. So, I mean, I understand it do take a lot because I had to go through all of that. And that's what I did. Like, we talking about a lot. And this is why it makes sense that this whole COVID thing is she's spreading false information, because we're telling you that, bro, forget the back and forth, the Twitter, the Clubhouse, somebody attempted suicide. Like, forget it. And all you can say is, well, so did I, and I went through a lot of stuff. Empathy. That's the main thing with this COVID thing and why it's so big in the US and not in other places. The lack of empathy that we have, including within the Black community. We like to say that the Black community is better than the white, larger American, all of that. But even within us, the lack of empathy for things that we do not ourselves experience. Basic empathy to the point that you can discern this has turned into something that has become a life or death. Even if I do believe I was right, even if I do believe I was justified, even if I just am angry with this lady and want to go in on her and curse her out and like find all her information, all this stuff. Even if I went that deep in the hole, once it came to the point of a suicide attempt, you could not stop and say, you know what, you're right, person that tweeted me about this suicide attempt. Enough is enough. That is the issue, and that is why I was never a fan of Tiffany Haddish. I consider possibly listening to her audiobook. I will never spend no money on her. I have never spent no money on her, and I won't. She's not funny at the end of the day. Girl Trip was only funny because that was a scripted movie that means that somebody wrote a script and she was saying what was on the script and acting it out. If you ever heard of Tiffany Haddish doing stand-up comedy, it's not funny. She's not funny. All she does is act like a super loud, extra, stereotypical black woman, and people like it because white people like to laugh at us being a minstrel show. She's not actually funny. Period, 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 period. I said what I said, and I meant it. She ain't funny. But on another note, to all the people, if some of y'all in my live right now might think like this, because I used to think like this. I used to think, well, cyberbullying and all this stuff, just log out. The problem is, especially now that we are in a pandemic, right? We are in a pandemic, and we are in a pandemic where we are not supposed to be physically in contact with people. That is why the Instagram Live versus things, that's why those started. That's why all these Instagram concerts, all these virtual concerts from people like T-Mobile, all this stuff, this is why it started. So that we can digitally connect and create community despite not being able to physically touch and be around each other physically. This is why Clubhouse became so popular, because this is a digital platform where you can speak. There can be loads of people in the Clubhouse room speaking and talking at the same time without us physically. This is why all these apps have skyrocketed in the first place. This is why people are even on Clubhouse to argue. No, Clubhouse had actually been out. Nobody cared about Clubhouse until the pandemic. Do y'all not understand? That's why their capacity is so full to the point that they it only got popping because of the pandemic. And so I think it is very scrutinize this belief that, oh, you could just log out, because we are literally in the age where you need digital to create community. You need the digital to create community. And if y'all do not know, not feeling like you have community, not feeling like you have somewhere to connect with people is a main cause of mental health issues, which is why there has been rises in trigger warning suicide attempts throughout this pandemic, because people have not been able to hang out with their friends, hang out with their loved ones without feeling like they might put themselves at risk or put their family members, their grandparents, whoever lives with them at risk. It is a mental toll. So people use things like connecting on Clubhouse, on Twitter, on Instagram, on YouTube, whatever, to connect. So to simply just say, well, if somebody bullied you, you need to just log out. Not why. Literally, I've seen so many comments. It's disgusting. So many comments saying, well, I mean, if you would attempt suicide off of something that somebody said to you on a virtual platform, then you don't need to be on that platform anyway. No, you're right. There might be they might need to do some inner workings when it comes to how they utilize social media, the boundaries, and working to be able to get rid of those things or remove those things from their life. But you also cannot say that it's just you just shouldn't use it, because of the simple fact that we have to live our lives on these platforms. There are professionals. Forget Tiffany Haddish and the celebrities that Meek Mill using Clubhouse. There are professionals having networking events on Clubhouse, on Zoom, on all these things. You know, let's not say Zoom, because we know Zoom is used for professional stuff. But I've seen many professional organizations, professional influencers, things like that, using this to talk about the law, to talk about opportunities in recruitment, HR, all these things. So you cannot just say, well, you shouldn't be using it anyway, because these virtual spaces are now a part of our space. And that's something I also think we should like interrogate. If y'all know about health and the main determinants of health, right? One of the determinants of health is built spaces, right? So like where you live, like, you know, from like, is there green space where you live, to like, you know, what's around you, who lives in this environment, how tightly packed is this environment. But I think we all also need to determine that access to virtual space in this pandemic age is a social determinant of health, seeing how it has been shown that without access to community, people's mental health has declined to the point of, sorry, trigger warning, suicide. So if you, whether because you don't have Wi-Fi, so you can't get on the Zoom calls for your club meetings and your extracurricular things because you don't have Wi-Fi, you don't have a laptop, you don't have these different things. At this point in the digital age, that is a social determinant of health. That is a social determinant of health. And these virtual spaces right now are real spaces, and having access to them is real. So just saying, oh, she should just leave if she can't take the heat. No, we should work to make sure that these spaces, both Clubhouse as an app and, you know, their guidelines, their community guidelines, who can even be on there, as well as if you are creating a Clubhouse room, we should work to make sure these spaces are spaces that are accessible to all people. Just like we would want a physical building to be a building, there's ADA regulations. You have to make sure your physical building, somebody with a wheelchair can get into the building, somebody with different things are able to get in and out of the building. There's regulations on that. There needs to be regulations when it comes to these virtual spaces, because it is literal evidence to prove that these virtual spaces are needed when it comes to access for mental health and building community, when it comes to access for finding a job. And, you know, like it should be illegal that Wi-Fi is not a utility that all people have access to, just like it should be illegal that healthcare is not a utility that all people have access to. Because even as we can see with the pandemic, there are states, Florida, giving out vaccines and stuff on Eventbrite, a virtual platform. So imagine if you don't understand how to accessibly utilize virtual platforms to sign up to get on the wait list for a COVID vaccine, or you don't have access to Wi-Fi, like that could literally be life or death for you. And I think that I think that we as academics, as people that are trying to do better in our Black feminist journeys and in our journeys on activism, should consider that the way that we interact with virtual space is actually a health determinant. And the types of virtual spaces that we build, these things affect people and literally affect their health. When it comes to the programmers and who's giving access to these type of things, when it comes to our lawmakers, when it comes to AT&T and fiber and spectrum and making Wi-Fi so expensive, why do y'all think that when the pandemic first popped off, so many AT&T and all these other companies were making it where if you had a certain income or you were a student, you could get free Wi-Fi? Because we are literally at the point where you need Wi-Fi to be able to survive. You need, a lot of people, not even just a lot, most jobs, you need Wi-Fi to be able to turn in a resume onto a website. Forget kid, and it's only these companies are only making that accessible for kids and people that have to go to virtual school and stuff. But think about it, if you looking for a job, you down bad, and maybe y'all really, not even just y'all, maybe Tiffany Haddish, all these people are not thinking about it like that, which is why I'm coming here saying it. So maybe y'all can think about it like that. If you, and because maybe you really have not been exposed to nobody that's been in this situation. If you don't have a laptop, if you homeless, you don't have a laptop, so you have a phone and you can access Wi-Fi whenever you can, skim it off of people. You don't have the money to have your own Wi-Fi because you don't have your own space to pay for your own Wi-Fi to even be living there in a built space that you're living in. You gotta then navigate how to make a resume on a phone and then upload that resume to a website. What I'm saying is, in general, all of these virtual spaces, whether it be the necessity to utilize them in order to get money and to get a job and for your well-being, literally, or if we're talking about the necessity of community and the necessity to build community for your mental health, I believe that virtual spaces are a space that we have to consider in the social determinants of people's health. And at the end of the day, Black women are on the lowest of the totem pole when it comes to the social determinants anyway. I'm sorry. I feel like y'all might not understand what I'm saying. It's 3 people in here, but ain't nobody commenting. Please comment below if you understand what I'm saying. This is a rant. At this point, it's a rant. It's a rant for me. Oh, my stomach hurt. But I personally am not going to engage with Clubhouse no time soon. I don't think I have been invited, but I just feel like I don't want to engage in that space because it seems very toxic. And at this point, that has led to a suicide attempt. Clearly, it is very toxic. So I just would like y'all to consider that just as much as, we have proven that we need these built spaces and physical community in order for mental health to thrive, we are trying to cope and replace the physical space with the digital space. But if you remove people's access, if you kick them out of the digital space, you can't be surprised that you're affecting their mental health. You cannot be surprised. You cannot be surprised. That's all I have to say. Sum it up. Tiffany Haddish is never funny. Never has been funny. Has always been cooning for the white folks. It was okay up until the fact that she decided to team up with the Black men that tear Black women down constantly to attack a Black woman doctor to the point of having her fans and their fans then find personal information about this doctor, which led to her then, attempting suicide. And Tiffany has yet to show any empathy and instead turned this into a story about how she also attempted suicide. And at the end of the day, she went through a lot. The empathy is not there. The empathy for people who don't have access to healthcare and being able to pay for healthcare like she can herself is not there. The empathy when it comes to the fact that we need virtual spaces in this day and age of this pandemic to literally survive and make community is sad. And feeling like, oh well, she stepped in the kitchen and couldn't take the heat. Oh well, it's sad. It's sad. It is sad that not only Tiffany Haddish, but a lot of people that have commented on this issue, a lot of people, that the empathy level is not there in general. Even if you haven't, all this stuff I said about social determinants of health and, built spaces versus virtual spaces and how those things affect health, if nothing else, have empathy for the fact that a woman was at the point, a Black woman that has been trying to serve the Black community, at the point of wanting to attempt suicide. I always end my videos telling y'all to make y'all little corner of the universe a little bit better. But with this one, I implore y'all to please, at least until the next time I speak to y'all, be a little empathetic. If you even have an inkling of a thought that whatever situation you're talking about or discussing or discerning in your mind could possibly lead to life or death, just have a little bit more empathy. If you're thinking, hey, I don't have to wear a mask, just consider, could this possibly lead to me hurting and killing somebody that I love, but also somebody that I don't even know? Even if you don't know this person, don't care, think, just consider. even if just consider, can my actions lead to life or death? And if they can, maybe just stop and have a little more empathy, y'all. Do whatever y'all can to make y'all little corner of the universe a little bit better. This was all I could do today. I put myself on the platter for y'all. I hope y'all enjoyed it. But yeah, my name is Lexus, and thank you so much for watching Black Girl Guidance. Thank you so much.